Bitcoin over $41,000. And the question on everyone's mind, are they going to get this ETF application across the finish line? And I'll tell you this, BlackRock was back at it again, working directly with the SEC. And it looks like they got it done here, man. They made little fine details, fine tweaks. They're not wasting all their time just to get a no. I think it's going to happen. And this is the first time I've been this confident that with this SEC, we're going to get it done. You also see Ethereum up over $2,200. What is XRP doing? Well, it's doing what it does quite often. It's waffling about it just a little under 62 cents. Should we be concerned? What's going on here? We see my buddy, Digital Asset Daily. He said the following: today is the most frustrated I've seen retail investors since I've followed Ripple and XRP. And for good reason. Look, we have this big win, historic court victory, and we're at 61 cents. Everything else is going up. Not really everything, but you know what I mean. Your big cryptocurrencies, when are we going to get our moment? I'll tell you this. We have this historic victory, XRP's classification here in the United States. It's the rule of law. It is a commodity. It can trade freely on U.S. exchanges, unencumbered by SEC attacks. Furthermore, it's going to be the first bull run in history where XRP has direct U.S. liquidity. It's going to do fine. Brad Garlinghouse here is named the 2023 Comeback King with XRP's win over the SEC. He threw in there, it was also a win for the XRP army, and he's absolutely right. It's a win for the greater crypto community as well. It's going to stop the SEC from really being able to wreak havoc. And if you believe fundamentally that a cryptocurrency has value, that it will be used to build out these financial systems of the future, that it has a place in this digital asset revolution, you don't have to worry. You're going to have your moment. Just let things develop, sit back and relax. This ain't 2021. Understand that. I know people have PTSD. They're shell shocked. They're concerned. You don't need to be. We're going to do well. It is my opinion, out of the large cap cryptos, XRP is going to be the best performer. But that's my opinion. But what I know is it will perform. It will perform well. Don't worry. This is going to be a massive bull run. We'll have our moment, and XRP is going to give us great gains. It's just a matter of time. Now, how should we trade this Bitcoin ETF news? Once we have the actual approval, is that going to be the moment that this space takes off, or is that going to signify the top? Is that going to bring in the top for Bitcoin? Well, we see from Altcoin Daily, this chart he put up. Look at this. This is gold, and when the ETF was first approved, was that a time to sell? Heck no. The price went on a just crazy tear from that moment forward. It never went down lower, that's for sure. Are we going to see the same thing again with crypto and Bitcoin? Well, only time will tell. I'm going to play some analysts here for you here today, and we'll see what they think. But before we get into that, we have the CEO here of Grayscale, and he brings up an interesting point. 2023, it's really about the inflation hedge. It's, we have rising inflation. What assets are you going to flee to? One of them was crypto and really Bitcoin in a lot of ways. What happens once we see interest rates go down? Well, what's interesting with crypto, it's still the play because it's a risk-on asset, and people see it like as a tech investment for massive growth. And so 2024 might be even better for us. And he puts it perfectly because Bitcoin and crypto at large is different things to different people. So let's listen to what he says. I thought it was a pretty interesting point.
When we look at 2023, Bitcoin is up 150% this year.
Not bad.
It has had a positive correlation with gold, as you've mentioned. And if we look at 2023, it was a year that was characterized by rising inflationary fears and investors looking for places to go to hedge against those types of pressures in their portfolio. That's Bitcoin, that's gold, that's now bonds. And now, as we get to 2024 and the Fed...
And so that's interesting. In this environment where gold and bonds are really the go-to, well, Bitcoin's also in there and crypto's also in there. But now we're going to go to this risk-on asset time frame. And now what's going to happen? Well, crypto really comes into play. And I think also altcoins will catch more of a bid during that type of environment.
2024, and the Fed may in fact be signaling that they're going to start to cut rates because Bitcoin means different things to different types of investors. You may see some of that positioning towards a risk-on trade because Bitcoin is considered a risk asset, and you may see investors allocating to it, thinking about it more as a technology investment than perhaps a store of value.
So it's bigger than just a store of value. Again, it's this risk-on asset, it's this technology investment. And in the environment we're going to see next year, it may really even pick up more than we've seen. Now, this analyst is going to talk about how we should trade around this event. What's his opinion? And also, when we should expect altcoins to start to perform. Let's listen to this.
You're very bullish.
Yes.
Has anything changed in terms of the trajectory of the move higher?
No, not really. I mean, certainly. So this move is really built on this anticipation of an ETF, probably January 5th to January 10th. So as it gets higher as a trader, of course, I'm going to get a little scared because you're saying how much of that is already priced in. We're getting pretty close to that. But in terms of the longer term trajectory for Bitcoin, I think you just have to think of it as we're in this, let's call it 1 to 2 year bull market period. We'll have these pullbacks. Even in 17, when we had a massive run, we had months that it was down 30, 40%. So you just have to keep that in mind.
So January 5th to 10th, it seems like it's all downside. It's like you have the sell the news or the disappointment. So how do you position into that?
And so that's a great point right there. You know, the way he's laying this out, if it's rejected, well, that's just bad news and the price is going to tumble. But if it's already priced in and that's kind of the top, people know it's coming or at least believe it is, how much left, is there growth to be had here? And so what do you do leading into this event?
I mean, I think you're long going into it, and then you start layering out of it as you get towards the end of the year. So let's call it over the next week or so. At least that's the strategy we're going to employ.
Okay, and then the reaction.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. He's a trader. I'm not. So I'm definitely not selling into this event. I wouldn't be surprised if, the ETF rolls out and we see prices pull back a little bit because, well, we're past the big driver there. But on the other side of this, we have, the halvening event, a lot of stuff going on. So I'm not looking to be too tricky here and trade in and out. But as a trader, that's what he's thinking. Look, this is mostly priced in. The closer we get, you see these applications continue to be fine-tuned. Like, they're going to start pulling some money off the table here, and they're looking at great gains year to date. So why not? Again, that's a trader's perspective. Just gives you an idea of maybe what to expect here.
Then the reaction, in sympathy from the other coin. I mean, will there be a sympathy move too?
Yeah. So generally what we've seen in bull markets is about a month after Bitcoin moves, it starts to go to the altcoins. So we saw Ethereum break out last night and then Solana, and then it starts to go down the list. And so that's what I would anticipate. Let's call it January or so.
BK, good to have you here.
So you're sitting here, you have your various altcoins. XRP hasn't run yet. When he's talking about the traditional flow of things, Bitcoin starts to top out, Ethereum starts to run, and then just a little bit down the road, you see your greater altcoin market, start to go up in a significant way. And if he's right, January may be the time when we can expect things like XRP to do well. I'm going to talk about a more overarching view I have here. But that's probably not a bad guide here.
Say hi to Brian, by the way. Yeah, a lot of this move has coincided or coincident with the fact that 5 rate cuts apparently are priced in for next year. Every time we pull them forward, Bitcoin seems to take a leg up. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, I think it's a macro tailwind. We've been fighting the macro headwind for almost 2 years now, right? Rising rates, stronger dollar, all of that. The Fed's probably done. Europe has got a real problem on their hands. China's got a massive problem on their hands. And Japan is unlikely to tighten. So when I look at global liquidity, I think, yeah, short gold, Bitcoin, both of them are going to do well in this environment.
So question about
So again, he's referencing what we should expect in next year, and crypto will do very well. I'll tell you this, when you even go a little past this ETF stuff, we know what's going to happen. You're going to see Ethereum, people just piling on there. People trying to use their D-apps, and it's going to be even crazier this time because NFTs are just going to be more than they were last time. And DeFi is going to be just many more applications than we saw last time around, and people are used to it, so you'll see more people adopting that. I think gaming is going to be absolutely lights out, so people trying to do gaming D-apps. And so, Ethereum's going to get slow loaded down. You're not going to be able to do any transactions. You're not going to be able to do any trades. You're not going to be able to do, anything that you need for your gaming type transactions. And they're going to have to roll off into other blockchains. And we saw last time what that did for Binance. A lot of people got used to Binance chain at that time and some of the other ones. And so I also think if you have some of those layer 1 smart contract blockchains, when you start seeing Ethereum start to get really congested and very slow and very, very expensive, where it's almost unusable, I look for those other competitors to start firing off because people are going to have to go to them. And, some of the ones last time around weren't ready, like Cardano. Really, at the beginning of that bull run was not ready. Neither was Polkadot. This time around, they are. You have Atom doing a lot more building. So I think some of those contenders, some of those competitors with Ethereum are going to do very well as this bull run continues. And people have to search out, other solutions, better solutions, ones that actually work. And, as we continue through here, you're going to see a lot of different sectors start to fire off. And as long as you have value, as long as you pick the right ones and you have a nice diverse portfolio here that hits all the various sectors, whether it's, your general cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I call them the Holy Trinity. You have some of the Ethereum competitors. You have some, stuff in gaming and DeFi. It's just going to be a windfall of profits. Be ready. It's going to get fun. There will be pullbacks. You heard them talk about that even during 2017. That's just a historic thing we still talk about today. You had these massive 30% pullbacks. That's just par for the course. Just like in the bear market, nothing goes straight down. You have these great rallies. It's the inverse of that. And this thing can go on for a while, whether it be a year or 2 years. We don't really know at this point in time. But if now's the moment, get ready because it's going to be a long ride and it's going to be a lot of money to be made. And we're going to do quite well. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.